One dude twisted don't show up on that bullshit.
What's going on, people? Welcome to the live match reaction. Forest 1, Palace 1. I'll be honest, I'm not smiling at the result. I'm just smiling at what's happened behind the scenes. But thank you to every single one of you that's joining us live. If you do enjoy the content, don't forget to hit the like button and also subscribe to not miss out on future videos. We've been a bit consistent this week. We had a little break ourselves. Palace had a little break. Not 2 wins. We beat Millwall in a break. We had some decent results. Had a trip to Marbella, not us, of course, Palace, and we've had a little break. But Palace are back, and we are back as well. And the lines will be open in a few minutes' time, where you can join in and have your say. Of course, we're going to be talking about Dean Henderson. We're going to be talking about Eze and more. Send in your comments throughout the show. The debate already started behind the scenes about the goal that we conceded. But before we actually talk about that, T, I haven't spoken to you in a while, bro. How you been, man? How you been dealing with Patrick? It's hard, isn't it?
Hey man, me and P, we do good, man. That's my guy, man. He good. He
Yo,
good for
T
life.
T is my man. T's my guy. I don't want to hear it. T's my
So
man.
what? You saying that I'm the problem here? I'm the problem.
All I'm saying is when something is needed from Patrick, if I'm involved, he got me. That's all I'm saying.
Oh yeah, he's consistent. And you know what? It kind of reminds me of Munoz as well. Munoz has been consistent since he joined us as well. And I forgot about that because Munoz actually had a good game. So we mentioned Munoz as well. Let's quickly talk about the lineup. There was a few worries about whether players can be fit or not. Munoz started today. Of course, Elise is still not back. But overall, just going into the game, how were we feeling, Patrick? I'll start off with you. You done a previous show leading up to the game, and right. I thought the lineup there wasn't much to complain about. For me, it's really the bench. I looked at the bench and I thought, damn, like if something goes wrong, there isn't many options to come and save us.
Yeah, I mean it's the same lineup as we had against Luton, right? I mean, besides obviously Henderson being in goal for Johnston, but I mean, listen, considering what he's working with, him being Glasner, I mean, what can you do? I mean, I thought the lineup was fine. I thought that Forest did a good job of targeting Joe Ward's side and Munoz's side. They doubled up a lot of times on that side. Made sense because, that's going to be our weak side. I thought Warton played really well in the middle. I thought Lerman did a great job in the middle. I thought Richards and Anderson were very good in the middle of the defense. Mateta's goal very well taken. IU today, very quiet. But again, it's the point down. We don't have options. We have a lot of injuries. I think I counted last count. We have 9 players out. I mean, talking about missing Olise and Gahey, the quality that they have. Raksaki could have been a good sub to come on today. I mean, honestly, I think, we had it in the chat. I thought, just looking at the team, the way we set up, the organization, I thought was really, really good. You can see what we're trying to do. You can see the pressing triggers, dropping off, being organized, switching the play, that kind of stuff. So I thought it was fine. And again, as we did T and I and Nick did on the I guess was Stan on it too? No, it was me, Stan, and Nick. Yeah, prediction was 1-1. So you give me 1-1, I was taking it before the game, I take it now.
T, when you looked at the lineup, did you think that this team could go and get a win against Forest? Did you have the faith?
Yeah, I think they could. Yeah, I definitely, was optimistic that we could come away with 3 points. And, with the way we scored that first goal, how I was executing things, it was like, we might have something going here. And of course, we had a lot of chances that we could have, should have, would have converted that could have made the match look a lot different. And I guess that's the game. That's the game of football, man. Like, you're going to have chances, you're going to have opportunities. What are you going to do with them? Because it could change the complexion of the game. So I was confident, I was actually happy with the fact that we had some hope, with the hope of probably seeing some young guys get a chance to get in there too. But overall, I mean, you can't not respect the effort. I thought we played well. I felt like we gave up possession a little bit more than I wanted us to, but it was what it was. But I mean, to go to the City Ground to get that point, I mean, I can't be mad about that.
Yeah, okay, let's start off with the positives. I think in the first half, the goal that we scored, a brilliant pass from Lerma, nice assist from Eze. and bring in goal. Look, Forest had that spell, and people were worried during that spell. They were saying, look, Forest having 10, 15 minutes of keeping the ball. But let's be honest, even in the first half, they barely created anything. Henderson had no saves to make. Even in their so-called spell, we still created the more dangerous chances. And when you look at the chance that people are going to be talking about, we'll quickly mention in first half, and there's some in the second half. Eze had that chance in the first half. Brilliant ball from Warton to make it 2. And he missed it. Look, he was very close to the goalie. Maybe he could have went around the goalie. Maybe he could have passed it to Mateta. Then again, we're talking about less than a second to make these decisions. But Patrick, you said it behind the scenes that you were not happy with Eze's performance today. You said that he could have actually finished the game off for us.
Yeah, I mean, when you're up again, credit to him for the assist for the Mateta goal. Great assist, great finish by Mateta. And again, I'll take a little time here to give Mateta his props. The guy this season has been really, really good. What's that? 7 goals now, 10 altogether if you include the 3 they had in the FA Cup. That's double digits for the season. I never thought I'd ever say that about him. And he has like about 4 or 5 assists, so credit to him. But he has to score one of those 3 chances. Eze had 3 chances. The last one, 80-something minute was a good block. Yeah. Second half, right. But in the first half, he had 2 chances. He has to score one of those 2. And the game is different at 2-0. I know Palace have given up leads all season. Quick stat, by the way. Glasner has led every game that he's coached so far for Palace. We've been ahead in all 4 matches. We've got 5 points. We've been ahead in every game. Spurs, Luton, Burnley today, ahead in every game. It's just that again, we don't have the options not only to pick players to start and to come off the bench. But again, going back to Eze, I thought that he played okay, especially with Warton linking up, but he could have been much better. And again, this is the kind of game where you need him to be better than he is. I mean, or better than he was. Sorry, it's not that he had a terrible game, but he has to show more because again, it's Forest away, it's not Liverpool away, it's not City away. I just feel that he has the ability to do better. He has to do more. That's all I'm really.
It's so confusing though watching him. I don't know how to describe him because he has got moments like even in the Tottenham game, for example, when we did use that game, I was thinking like, oh, maybe sub him off. He's coming back from an injury. Then what happens? He goes and scores a free kick. In this game, he has an assist. But despite him scoring a goal, getting an assist, there's been a few games this season where after the game, I'm looking back at the game, I'm thinking he could have done much more though. And it's not just like, oh, 1 chance or 2 chances. It's just sometimes when he's on the ball, he just slows it down a bit too much. Like his decision making is a bit too inconsistent. But when it works, when he makes the right decision, he can run through plays or he can make the right pass. But sometimes you're thinking, why do you make that pass? Or why do you run faster? Why do you slow it down? It's a bit confusing to me. I don't know how to describe him. Look, he didn't have a bad game today. He had an assist, but despite that, at times I felt like his decision making kind of let him down as well.
Yeah, he has some enigmatic qualities. You know what I mean? Like the high quality of production he can give you. It's just the consistency of said product. And I think that's really what separates guys from being the top tier, world-class guys. The guys that can consistently give you mercurial performances every single time they hit the pitch. Like that's what makes Kylian Mbappe, because he does it every single time he's on the pitch. That's why Haaland is Haaland. You know what I mean? Like if Eze was that caliber and was capable of consistently doing it, he wouldn't be at Palace right now. That's my true belief.
That's a great point, T, but I'm going to be controversial because I know that there's been links with Eze to Man City. I'm sorry. He's not a Man City player. He absolutely is not, because I've watched him for Palace for now 3 years, and I watch him. He has his biggest games against not the top 6 sides. His best game for Palace against the top 6 side was probably Liverpool away last year when he set up Zaha for that goal, the 1-1. He doesn't have games against United. Well, I shouldn't say United, but man, I don't. Against City, Liverpool, Spurs. Look at D just said the Spurs game this season. He was poor except for the goal. Arsenal. He doesn't show up in those big games. So as much as I love him as a player, he's not a top 6 player. He will probably end up going to
But he won't move to top
West
6. No,
Ham.
he won't. No, the step up. No. He's not going to go West Ham. He's not going to leave Palace to go West Ham.
I did that on
let's be
purpose
realistic.
just
If
to
he's
rile you up.
leaving, you might think he's not a top 6 player, but if he's leaving for a top 6 club.
Well, I think there's
Who take him, honestly.
I don't know what club, but Eddie's not leaving to go West Ham. Let's just that's not going to happen. Or one of those clubs.
I think there's something that has to be said about that. Number one, he could play on a top 6 team. He's not going to be the best player on a top 6 team. You know what I mean?
Nah,
he could be a top 6 caliber player.
He needs to be more consistent. That's it.
Another thing you have to also think about though too is that playing for a team like Palace and going up against top 6 teams, how are we playing against them? We're not playing to Eze's strong suits when we play against those guys. We're playing.
But then you're right. But let's look at a game like today. We're playing away to Forest. Where's his ability to dominate and/or get the critical goal? Then where's that?
Which is the thing. Like, you're not going to. But I mean, you're not going. I mean, regardless, you're not going to play great every single game. I mean, we get that piece. Like there are even against similar or lesser teams, you're not always going to have the greatest performance. But he still had a very crucial assist that gave us an amazing goal that put us in a position to even get a point from that match. So it's not like you said earlier, he didn't play bad. He didn't have a bad match.
Right.
He just wasn't amazing. But I mean, like when we think about sometimes when he's playing those better sides, we're sitting in deep. We're trying to attack on the counter. Where if he's playing for a top 6 team, they're going forward. They're playing, so it might suit him more. So like it's one of those things. Like I think he can play for a top 6 team. I don't think he's going to be the best player on the team though.
But the thing is, it's a good point. But let's look at our second best player, or our Michael Olise. Look at how he has played this season consistently. He's only played 15 matches. I think he has 6 or 7 goals. Look how he has played. A perfect example, Man City away. Look how he helped to turn that game against Man City away. Do you know what I mean? And we sat back in that game, 80% possession. Do you know what I mean? So for me, Olise has the ability to go to the top 6 side and be a major part. Whereas if you're right, if Eze went there, he wouldn't be like, he wouldn't be a contributor. My example for me is like a Jack Grealish. Jack Grealish at Aston Villa was the best player on that team by far. He goes to City and Pep reels him back and he's not the same player. Grealish is really taking us, you know what I'm saying? SAP is not as good as good. But I'm saying if he went to like a City, he'd be like Grealish. He'd be a part of that, but he wouldn't
like a Jeremy Doku. He could be kind of like Jeremy Doku.
Another player who doesn't get the stuff.
Does he need Olise? Is there too much responsibility on
100% need someone in there to help him. Yep, great point. He's missing Olise for sure.
Yeah, because if you think about it, Jordan Ayew didn't have the best game today either. And
he was very quiet today.
And if you think about it, with those two being the 2 inside forwards behind Mateta, if Jordan Ayew's not having the best match, that means that there's more pressure being put on Eze to perform. So
I want to quickly talk about the shape, and I want to look at the first half in comparison to the second half, because I think the second half, I don't know what it was. Maybe it was a goal that we conceded, but we just weren't at the same levels. I know that we're talking about a few chances that Eze had in the first half as well as the second half, but for me, the first half, when I was looking at it, I know as I said at the start of the show, some people were a bit worried about the 10-15 minutes Forest had, but for me, I really wasn't, because Henderson barely had any saves. For me, I did see improvements today. I saw improvements in the shape, the structure, the organization, and you can see it in terms of the pressing off the ball, and the goal that we conceded. We'll talk about it. I do think it's more of a player error rather than a system error, and there is an error there. Not all goals have to be an error, but for me, there is a mistake there. Of course, Patch is going to disagree. But for me, overall, when we're looking at the break that we've had this 3 weeks, can you see the improvements, Patrick, from the Luton game?
100%. Obviously, playing away to Forest, we're not going to have the possession stats. Look at the possession today. Today, Forest 59%, Palace 41%. But we had 10 shots to their 12, and we had 6 on target. 3 on target. They had 5 on target. So we had chances, we had opportunities. According to my stats here, we only had 1 big chance. I would disagree. I think we had at least 3. But I thought the shape was very good. Clearly, again, the way that they set up, they had Hudson-Odoi on the left, Origi on the right. Their goal was to focus on their left, our right, which was Munoz/Ward's side. Not as much on Tariq's side, because Origi is not really a a wide player, such as more of a striker. So I saw that. Midfield, I thought we played really well. I thought Sangare was very quiet. Gibbs White played his game, but I thought that Lerma and Warton, both in midfield, did really well. I thought Mateta's hold-up play was very good. I thought when Eze linked up with Warton, it was very good. Warton's ability to pass a ball, Jesus Christ, he's so good. Warton's ability to see a pass is ridiculous.
He's
it really
amazing.
is really good.
I can't wait
He's
for it.
amazing.
Like, he's going to be an unbelievable player. What's up again, though? You're going, T.
When Warton gets the ability to flash off a shot from outside the box, he's going to be one of the most dangerous midfielders, man. Like, that's the one thing that is so obviously lacking from his game. It's his ability to contribute in the final third. Once he gets that piece of his game, like, man, if he could just put some of those long shots, like, even on target, because I'm still yet to see one where he actually takes it and gets it on target. Like, that kid's destined for some real great things, man.
Yeah,
top 6 player somewhere.
We spoke about improvements with the system, and I noticed that as well. Both in position and out of possession. But you know, the subs were a talking point. A lot of people were upset. They're saying, well, there's a comment here. Let me bring it up. Reminds me of Roy, says Luke 1688. His subs. David saying happy with Glasner, but did the game management remind anyone of Hodgson? Late subs and no opportunity to the youth. Now, when you look at the options off the bench, one, I don't think the options off the bench are great in the first place. I mean, we didn't even have a striker, no Bronson there. And I said it as we started the show. Like, I looked at the bench before the game even kicked off saying, this 11 better do it because I don't really know who's going to come off the bench. But then again, Warton comes off. Schlupp is back, which let me not say anything about that.
Patrick called it. Patrick said he's going to be the first one off the bench.
I think I said that. Yep, I did.
Yeah, Schlupp is back. Klein, he came on for a few minutes as well. For Mitchell, what do you make of the subs? Warton, once again, not being able to play 90 minutes. That has to be a fitness thing rather than a tactical, right? Because it doesn't make any sense why he takes him off, considering how good he plays. Yeah. But overall, the subs, talk to me.
He's been consistent with the Warton for Hughes, and I hate it. I mean, I don't hate it as much as Stan hates it. Stan really, really hates it. But I don't like it. I didn't think the Schlupp for Ayew sub was a bad sub. I thought Schlupp actually played well. Ayew was invisible. I think Schlupp for Ayew was actually a good sub. And the Klein one, I think Mitchell got an injury late. It was like the 90 plus 6 minutes. That wasn't a big deal. It was the one for Hughes sub. I don't get it either. I don't understand either. It didn't kill us today. It has in the past because I think there was a stat that says every time that Warton's on the pitch, we haven't conceded. And every time he gets subbed off, every goal we conceded on the glass that he's been off the pitch. That's a fact. It's not a stat. It's actual. It's a fact. All 3 goals against Spurs. The goal today. The goal against Luton. But not today. But not today. That was an early
goal. They scored it early. Right. Yeah.
So I don't get either. But again, D makes a great point. I would love to him have tried to use one of the Matherin or Uma. He's not going to do it, guys. He's not going to do it. This is a game where I said in the preview, it's a must not lose game. To use them today would have been iffy. Even Ozo, which I would refer to Hughes, no doubt. There's something about him wanting to have Hughes on it. It's got to be the experience, guys. Like, I can't think of any other reason, but it didn't hurt us today. I hate to say it didn't. It normally kills us. Today he did not score when he was on the pitch. But again, I'm not a fan of that sub either. But D says maybe it's got to be a fitness thing because it's been consistent. It's happened every single match. Warton off, Hughes on. So.
And you would think after all this time, I mean, with the 3 weeks, with the international break and because of Newcastle reschedulement, like, and it's not like he hasn't been playing. Like he was playing full 90s for Blackburn before he came. So I'm just wondering, like, why
did he play the full 90 for Everton? He did, right? The first game he didn't play the full 90 against Everton. I can look it up, but I'm pretty sure he did, right? The first game.
I'm not sure. Yeah. I'm not sure, but it's just one of those things. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's a tactical sub. Maybe it's just the fact that he knows that he's getting into the 80th minute and he's a little bit run down. It's like bringing a guy who like Hughes who's going to run his socks off for 10, 15
He got subbed
minutes.
off. 80th minute against Everton. 80th minute came off. Even every game gets subbed off.
So it's like maybe you just bring on an experienced guy who's gonna run his socks off for 10 or 15 minutes and not lose you the match. Like you said, Patrick, not lose you the match. You know what I mean?
Right.
When it comes to our bench, I don't know. When I saw the bench for the match, I kind of expected to see Hamada get a chance at some point. Like in
Yeah,
my
Me
mind, I
too.
was
yeah,
like,
that's the only one. Ozo, one of them
I'm
two.
looking
I
at
don't,
all those guys, and I'm like, okay, Hamada's going to get a chance. Like if we really go to the bench, I would expect to see him come in, but it didn't happen. But you know, I think the comparison to this felt like Hodgson was running the match. It's like, well, who's available? You know what I'm
that's the
saying?
problem.
Like, yeah,
Exactly. Limited
that's
options. I
this
agree.
was
I
this
agree with
this
you on
was
that.
like, in that match of what we need to get out of that match, where we were at the time, 1-1, trying to maybe pull back a goal. Like, yeah, maybe you don't bring in young guys right there. That's a tough spot to bring some young guys into. You know what I'm saying? So I get that piece. I get why they didn't come on. You know what I'm saying? And with that being the case of not wanting to bring on the young guys in that type of situation, who else do you have to look to? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, the only other one was a Hamida. So I don't know, and he's still on the younger end, but
He's 22 now, right?
yeah.
Just turned 22, right?
So
Yeah, look, that's what I think a few comments have said it as well. Like, bring on the end of the season. Unfortunately, it seems like we reached that
Yeah, good
once
point.
again. It's like that
100%.
annual
Yeah.
Crystal Palace end of the season phase where the season's pretty much done because of what's happened earlier on in the season in terms of the cup competitions and where we are in
Right.
the league. I think we can all agree that we are just comfortable in terms of staying up. I think we will stay up.
But
Today,
D,
Luton lost. Yeah, go on.
you know the thing about end of the season, I'm 100% behind that. That's why the international break, I loved it. I need the break from Palace, but I'm telling you right now, I'm looking forward to next season a lot more than I ever have. Yeah, I really am. That's the
Yeah.
one thing I'm looking forward to the changes. Even if we sell players, the changes, Glasner system being incorporated more, youth players getting a chance next season. So from that standpoint, I agree. People saying end of the season now, I'll be happy in whatever 14th place. But as far as next season goes, I'm looking forward to it big time. I think it's gonna be an exciting season next year. I really believe
Yeah,
that.
well, look, he's got 8 more games, I think, after this one. Still to experiment with the squad, to look at the players. We've had this 3 weeks break, so coming to the season, we know who he likes, we know who he doesn't like. Hopefully, Elise will be back at some point as well, so you can use them and see how that will work with Elise Eze there. Look, there's a lot to look forward to for next season, but for this season, it seems like it's pretty much an experiment right now from here onwards because we've stayed up. We've stayed up. The Bournemouth game, it'll be interesting to see what happens. Hope we'll do the preview tomorrow about it. But for me, right now, without much consideration, it's another game of not losing. Pick up another point, we'll be fine. Go on, Patrick.
One more thing I forgot. You know who we didn't have Franz or Edward on the bench. I mean,
yep.
Yeah.
a lot of injuries, guys.
There was a lot.
Yeah.
There was a lot that we didn't have in this match. Like you said, Patrick, it was kind of like I don't know, when you said it earlier, it was almost like shocking to me. You're like, we're missing like 9 guys. I'm like,
a lot
9?
of people, man.
I don't know
Like,
where
they've all just disappeared.
Yeah, they've all just disappeared out of nowhere as well. Let's bring on the first guest of the show, Tim. 1-0.
Hey,
There he is.
How you doing? You all right?
I'm all right, man.
Tim.
Welcome back. Welcome back, D. How you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm good. I've enjoyed the break. And when you come back to this after the break, it's like, oh, geez, I can't wait for the end of the season, to be fair. I'm one of those people as well. Even though there's still a lot to look forward to this season in terms of what he can do with the system, etc. Pretty much this season's overdone with, right?
Yeah, but I was shaking my head vigorously when Patrick was saying I'm really looking forward to next season. Like, I'm same boat. Like, so I can see how things are improving. And I think the other thing just to mention, we've got Bournemouth on Tuesday. So I don't know that we were going to get as many. Like, I think there were going to be some players who were stretched, and then I think we're going to see some rotations on Tuesday. I would expect that.
Edward will come back. I want
Great
Edward
point.
and Fonso
Great point.
will be okay.
Yeah, he might be T. I don't know, but I mean, you kind of saw that coming. But I think it's disappointing. I agree with those who say that I thought Eze's touch let him down a little bit. He's got to score one of those goals. He had some big chances. Munoz's hitting the post. Oh, I mean, just
corner
like
there.
that. But I got it. I got to tell you, though, like the number one thing I saw from this, which is another thing that makes me happy that we have Glasner as our manager, is this was a final 21 minutes where I've been dreading those last 15 to 25 minutes all season, and I was still nervous, but this was way better, way more defensively solid, not getting ourselves way too stretched. Actually, and I thought, honestly, Hughes in that role, I still don't get it. I still don't know why Hughes comes on for Warton, but I'll give him a little bit of credit on this one. Putting him in Warton's position and where Hughes was pushing up to body up Gibbs White, stop them from moving it through the middle and taking interceptions and moving the ball back. That actually was, I mean, tactically, that was quite smart. And it did keep Forest a little bit at bay. They had to go out wide. They really started overplaying it to Hudson-Odoi. And finally, I think that Munoz really didn't let him get anything. Hudson-Odoi did have one pretty clear shot at the net, and that's when he got Wardy. He did rinse Wardy once, but when Munoz was on him, he really didn't get much. So I thought team defending in this match was a hell of a lot better, particularly towards the end of the match. But we lack cutting edge. We're missing a lot of players. It's the same old story in the final third. There are some very typical Palace things about this game, but that was a major improvement that I got to tell you, I liked seeing it.
Yeah, I agree with the improvements as well. Let's talk about the goal conceded. We was going to talk about at some point. So
that had Welbeck vibes, didn't it?
Me personally, I do think that Henderson should have come out. The way that the ball was floated, it wasn't like a whip ball. I think there was enough time for Henderson to make a decision to come out, to make it a bit more uncomfortable. It was in the 6-yard box, and look, he was funny enough. He done all right. Well, not all right. He done good with crosses today, especially from corners. He kind of he handled the situation much better than previously. But for me, that goal conceded, it just annoys me because I just feel like
I know
a bit more. But for you, Tim, do you agree?
Yes, although it had Welbeck vibes to me, at Selhurst. Although I thought Welbeck's goal was actually better placed and was a better goal, I do agree with you. That was one of those moments where that's consistency, D. Like, you're either going to take command of your box or you're not going to take command of your box and you get stuck on the line. So either do it or don't. So if you're going to take command of the box, you get out there and you make the play. So yeah. I mean, could he have gotten that? Maybe. I mean, it's a very frustrating goal to give up. But I mean, look, I thought overall though, defending was pretty. I mean, it was solid, man. I thought Richards and Anderson were brilliant today. They were excellent.
Exactly. They were so good to the extent that we don't really have to mention it because everyone can see. Like, it was so obvious that they were just on point, like throughout the game. And yeah, they stood out. Just quickly, Tim, looking ahead to the next game against Bournemouth.
Yep,
it's going to be another difficult one. But based on what you've seen in this game and the improvements that you talked about as well, do you think we can get the 3 points, or is it another game of just don't lose?
I mean, I said I would like over the next 2 games somewhere between 2 and 4 points. So for me, it's another must not lose. But I do think it's there. Like, look, if Munoz buries his chance, we win. If Ebbs buries one of those other chances, we win. Like, there were really good chances to get 3 points here. And this was always going to be a hard game, D. Like, you're coming into a great ground with great fans who are absolutely at it, who are fiercely behind their team because they know how dire it is at the moment. It was always going to be a hard game, and I don't think we were intimidated by that. So, yeah, it's possible to get those 3 points, but you got to improve. You have to improve the final third. But there are genuinely good signs. Like you guys were saying, Warton cut Forest open with that, where he puts Ebbs in on goal. Like, we've got quality to get chances in the final third, but you got to convert them. You just have to.
Just want to add a couple of things. One, clearly Forest were up for the game today. Before the game, you see how the fans reacted to the point deduction, etc. And just to add, Crystal Palace have never beaten Forest in the Premier League at that ground. Never. Right. Okay, just to be clear. Okay, so just never beating them, guys. I don't think
but you have to change that one day.
Well,
I mean,
next season.
Yeah.
Well, that's the annoying thing. I feel like we could have done a bit more for the goal, especially the goalie, the goal that we conceded.
You mentioned it.
We're going to talk about that, Patrick. We are going to talk about it. We have to talk about that. We're going to get your thoughts as well. Look, Tim, great to have you on. Hopefully, we catch up with you after the Bournemouth game as well.
Good to see you, Tim.
Yeah, good to see you guys. Take care. Up the Palace.
Great to see you. Up the Palace.
If you're enjoying the show, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. If you want to have your say on the game, you can click on the pinned comment to join us live right now. Let's try and get to at least 100 likes. I know we're still warming up after the break in terms of people coming back to the channel, so let's try and get 100 likes. Patrick, before we bring on the next guest, I'll leave it to you. The goal conceded. Make your point how Henderson done everything right.
Okay, no, that wasn't my point. My point is this. I thought the ball from Gibbs White was an excellent chip. It's in that area of, you're absolutely right, D. He can come for that ball, all right? If he does, he's going to probably wipe out Chris Wood or not get the ball and get headed over either way. Or he stays on the line and hopes that he doesn't make a perfect header over him. Okay, so yes, he could have saved it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he couldn't have saved it. I'm saying that I thought overall he had a very good game, and that wasn't the worst I've ever seen him concede. Tim makes a great point. I hadn't thought about the Brighton goal by Welbeck. It was kind of similar, even though I thought the Welbeck goal was a lot worse. I think Henderson is a very capable backup of Johnstone. I don't get the hatred for him or dislike for him. And again, could he have saved that? Possibly. But again, every goal is not a goalie's mistake, is my point. I get that he could have saved it. I thought it was a very well-taken goal by both Gibbs White on the chip and Woods on the header. But again, if you want to say it was his mistake, D, we'll discuss it tomorrow. Tune in, people, for the player rating show.
Yeah, look, it was his mistake, but everyone has their own opinions. It was his mistake. I mean, you're saying it yourself, like that he could have come out. He could have come out. Maybe he would have caught Chris Wood, but you just feel like that's such an easy goal to see. The way that
just to be clear, every goal
it just doesn't feel right. It just doesn't feel right.
Just to be clear, we can critique every goal. Maybe the guy should have saved, Sels should have saved Mateta's shot. I mean, we can critique every goal. I mean, I get
but that's different, though. That's different. Come on, that's different. Right. So that was booted to the back of the net. This one, it was preventable. And
I've seen Goy make great saves on shots like that. I've seen Goy make great saves like that. And maybe he could have made a great play. Again, you want to kill him on it, fine. Again, I don't think it was as cut and dry as he should have made it, should have come out. But again, you want to make that point, I'm not going to argue with you. Listen, he made a mistake. He's a goalkeeper. What can I tell you? He made a mistake.
Well, that's the problem. When goalkeepers make mistakes, normally it costs you big time. It's not like a right back or centre back. And today,
very good point. All right, and keep that in mind. Yeah, you're right. When they make mistakes, we all
talk about it. Eze chances missed, and I do agree with you there. But we were 1-0 up when Eze missed some chances. And if he was a bit more commanding, maybe Henderson coming out for that, and we didn't concede that goal, then we would have won. We would have won despite the Eze chances missed, because it was already 1-0 up. But it is what it is. He's got the rest of the season to prove himself. I'll be honest, I haven't even been as critical as others have towards Henderson in the past. I mean, some people compared him to Wayne Hennessy, Stan, for example. I got onto him about that. I was saying he's never that bad. But then again, he hasn't been convincing though. Yeah, T, I don't know about you, but I haven't been convinced of him. I don't think it's been absolutely terrible since he joined Palace. But you know what it is? I think it comes down to the price tag. It comes down to the price.
That's exactly what I was about to say. The reason why people treat him the way that they do and have the agenda possibly against him, or the treatment of him, is because of how much we pay for him. I don't think that he would get anywhere near the amount of vitriol that he does if we paid 8 or 10 million for him compared to the 20 that we paid.
It is what it is. But it's not only just that. It's yes, we pay that much, but also he's joined the club with the idea that he's going to be number one at some point, right? There's no way we have Henderson and Johnstone as our two options. And right now, if I'm Palace, I think I don't know. It's not 100% certain, but I think we've made a mistake in terms of thinking that Henderson should be our number one ahead of Sam Johnson, because that hasn't been anything so far that's showing me that Henderson is a better goalkeeper than Sam Johnson. But then again, you spent £20 million on a goalie. What do? Do you sell Johnson this summer and make Henderson your number one? I think that'd be a very risky move.
That's what I'm saying. Like
if we bought him, that should be the move that we made.
If we bought him for like 8 or 10 million, people wouldn't be thinking that he was being necessarily brought in.
Oh, we haven't seen, and this is two number ones, two potential number ones at the club, and we have to make. There's no way we're gonna keep them as one or two. Like one of them has to be the number one at some point.
See, you make a great point, but newsflash: we played nothing for Johnston. And we paid 10 million for Henderson. Johnston is leaving this summer over Henderson. So
but okay, we paid nothing for Johnston.
You know I mean?
No. Right. Okay, look, all right, cool. We paid nothing for Johnston, but we paid 20 million for Henderson. So even if we do so, Johnston like 20 million pounds, what Palace?
Wait, no, 15. It wasn't 20. 50 million. It was 50, not 20.
No. Let's say we sell Johnston for 50 million pounds. We're basically trading.
I got you.
We're trading Henderson for Sam Johnson. That's what we're doing.
Right.
And for me, it doesn't make any sense. For me, there isn't. Why would we do that? Like right now,
I'm not agreeing. I'm not agreeing with the idea. I'm saying you just made a point about you're not going to have two number ones.
Do any of us see Henderson and Johnson being one or two in the next 2 to 3 years? No, that's not. It's not realistic. Like you're seeing with Arsenal, Ramsdale.
No, it's not. And that's why I said Johnson's going to leave. But I also think that we need to give Henderson a little bit more of a chance. Again, listen, I'll be the first one. I admit it. I could not stand Wayne Hennessy, and nothing he did was good for me. I don't have the same vibe about Henderson. I just don't. Now, it might change. Don't get me wrong. I just don't see it, though. I think Henderson actually is a good goalkeeper. But again, I'm willing to be proven wrong. I just think that the sample size is very small. Admittedly, he's not played well. He hasn't. I mean, the goals that, the Brighton goal, he gave up the goals against Chelsea. You know what I mean? But I will say that I wanted to give him a chance. I really am. And at this point, none of the guys, remember, we don't have a choice. Johnson's out for the season with an injury, so it's going to be Henderson for the rest of the season. Let's see how he does, and then go from there.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's bring on Rich next. Rich, how you doing, bro? 1-0 against
my guy.
We get the point.
My guy.
What do you make of the game?
It's a respectable point. I'm just annoyed. We just can't take. We got to finish our dinner. We really got to start finishing our dinner.
Yep.
No, Rich, no, it's all Henderson's fault, not the mission. It's Henderson's fault.
I'm gonna come on to that. I've got my own observation on that goal, to be fair. But you know what? I think we played this well. We played this on the break, and I think that was smart because one thing Forest are good at is on the break. So if we had tried to attack them from the get-go, like you saw, Hudson-Odoi was trying to isolate himself with Ward a lot. But the 1v1 between him and Munoz was wicked. Like Ola Aina was so gutted he was back because I think he's a good player as well. And I think we dealt with it pretty well. It's just a shame, like I said, if we're more clinical, I see us going 3-0 up. And it kind of gives me that the Luton vibes. That's another game we could have been 3-0 up. So we're making chances. We weren't making chances on the Roy. We just got to start taking them, to be honest. With the Henderson, the goal we conceded. Now, I've watched it back, and it's a slight bit of hesitation from Henderson. He decided to go and then changed his mind. And I think if he had just decided to either go for it, full throttle, or stay on his line, I think he saves it. But other than that, he had a good game.
Yeah, but it's a decision making. That's a problem with him at times. Like it doesn't give you that confidence. And right now, I just don't have the confidence. I don't know what's going to change that much. Patrick's saying that he has 8 games to the end of the season. He's going to have a run in. But you could tell, I don't think there's going to be... I don't think we're ever going to reach that point where Henderson is going to be a much better goalie than Sam Johnson. I just don't see that happening. I just don't understand it.
The biggest criticism of him before today was crosses. How was he on crosses today? He was
good. He was good.
Oh, come on, man. He was very, very good on crosses.
But then there was one ball lifted up to him, and then we conceded from it because of his hesitation. So cool, you can.
So you're right. He wasn't perfect today. So he wasn't perfect today. So you're right. He wasn't perfect.
Yeah, and it cost us. But Rich, you're talking about the chance missed. And I think we can all agree that Eze was the key culprit of that. What do you make of his game overall? Look, he got the assist, but we was having a discussion earlier on in the show about that certain phase of the game he can just kill it, and then other points he's just very slow. Like, what do you make of his game overall today?
It's a weird one. I'm starting
It
to
is,
ask
isn't it?
myself, can he actually play as an inside forward? And I don't want to do that with Ebbs because we know his quality, but it's weird. I don't know. When he's a 10, a sole 10, he's unstoppable. But he's playing this inside role. Maybe because I feel like, actually, you know what? The only person he can really link up with properly is Warton. Because Mitchell doesn't get forward enough to at least isolate as a 1v1 with any player. Lerma's all right at passing. Great through ball from him, by the way, today.
Yeah.
And then Ayew ain't really a give and go sort of. I think if it was the two with Eze and Elise, if we get to see it this season, maybe he might flourish a bit more. But Warton, I think, is the only player that I would say on a passing level is on his wavelength.
Yeah, and maybe he needs Elise. That's what people are saying.
Yeah, I think he needs Elise in the
bringing
system,
Elise because they have a great connection. Yeah. Looking ahead to the next game now against Bournemouth. It's going to come pick up us, and after that we got City. How important is that game, do you think, for Palace in terms of survival chances, or do you think we're already sorted? You're not as worried about it?
I said we needed 3 points from these 2 games. However it came, I didn't really care. I'm still going to stand by it, but today's results did help us. You know, Luton losing, Everton losing. I know Brentford have got to play tomorrow, I believe. So that did help. So we have gained an extra point on the teams around us. But see, Bournemouth are a weird one as well because they've had a good season. Like, they had a really bad start, then did really well, and now they're having a bit of a wobbly patch.
Yeah,
where they may not be playing well, but they're getting the results. So I think we can go there and win. And if we do that, I think that's it. I think we're done. We're done.
Yeah, that'll be a massive result. But look, Rich, always great talking to you, bro. Make sure to check out Eagle Eye Football people. They'll be having their reaction as well. All right, then.
Make sure you get the likes up as well.
What was that?
Make sure to get the likes up, people.
Oh, yeah.
Appreciate you, Rich.
You heard it right there.
Take it easy.
Right, take care, Rich. See you later, bro.
Take care, buddy.
Okay, we're gonna wrap up in a few minutes' time. As I said, we're just coming back. There's still a lot of content to be filmed, player ratings, match preview, opposition preview. So if you haven't already done so, make sure to subscribe and hit the like button and get involved in the comments. Just quickly, we're going to talk about the match preview tomorrow, of course. But what were we thinking about the Bournemouth game? Are we excited after today's game performance result? Or are we a bit, let's see what happens?
I mean, you don't feel bad going into it. I don't think. I think you're still optimistic. I mean, one of the things that we haven't mentioned that I definitely want to shout out. Tim got at it a little bit. We gave up our goal prior to the 75th minute, so I think there's some kudos that needs to be talked about. The fact that we held it down that in that last 15 minutes and didn't give up a goal, because that would have been the one that lost it for us. You know what I mean?
Point.
So I think it's a good thing to point out that we were able to end that match without conceding. So that's a good thing to see. I mean, I'm still optimistic for Tuesday. It's a quick turnaround, but interesting to see who we can get back to maybe help with that depth, and maybe who gets an opportunity to play that didn't today. So.
Yeah. And after that, we got City. So, hey, there's a lot of games. There's a lot of games coming up. But as I said, I think we're at this point of the season, it's about looking at what we have, looking at the depth options, looking at maybe what players Glasner likes, he doesn't like, and then trying to move some of them on in the summer. But this is a perfect opportunity. Go on, Patrick.
No, I just want to say, man, we owe Bournemouth. Remember, I was there for that game. I was there.
I forgot about that game.
Exactly.
Yeah. The last time we faced Bournemouth, the last time we faced Bournemouth at home, the fans were shouting, "You're not fit to wear the shirt" to the players.
Yep.
So it was an absolute. It was a terrible game.
It was a disaster.
It was 2-0.
We lost.
Yeah, 2-0 we lost.
Yep, 2-0. Yep.
It was a disaster. So let's see how we do in this game compared to that game. In that game, was Elise playing or no?
He did. Elise Ayu, Schlupp behind Edward. I'm looking at the lineup now. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, let's see who this squad. Let's see what Glasner can do, especially away from home as well. But look, that's going to be on Tuesday night. We'll be having a live match reaction for that as well. Thank you to every single one of you that's joined us live. It's good to be back. Good to be back, despite the result. If you have enjoyed it, hit the like button, subscribe. Tomorrow, more content's coming out. Player ratings, match previews. Make sure to check that out. And until next time, up the Palace.
Up the Palace.